You're listening to a New York Jets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Jets fans. Welcome to my last New York Jets instant recap of this terrible season, the second worst season in New York Jets franchise history, here on the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk. And on Wednesday, I said that you couldn't pick a worse year than 2020 to really get going on a sports talk podcast. The first ever episode of this show was December 26th, 2019. The teaser was December 19th, 2019. So 2020 was really when the podcast got going. You couldn't pick a worse year to do that from a sports perspective. There was a 4-month pause. The same holds true for doing New York Jets instant recaps. It's very difficult to say unique things about a team that's constantly dreadful. For God's sake, the team started out 0-13. The worst start in franchise history. They gave up 457 points. The most points ever given up by a Jets team in a single season. They were an embarrassment to the sport. I don't care that the Jacksonville Jaguars have the first overall pick. The New York Jets are worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Somehow, some way, we got through it. And now there's only one more game to recap this year. A game that they should have won. A game that every one of their fans wanted to win. No point in losing it from a draft perspective. So just win it. And they couldn't even do that. Let me tell you, there is nothing worse in sports than watching your team play the last game of its season, knowing that there's nothing on the line for both teams in the game. If the Patriots had a shot at the playoffs, okay, fine. That's a little exciting. Both of these teams were done. They were eliminated, and they played like it. They were dead to the world. Then in the final 18 minutes of the game, the Patriots decided that they actually wanted to win. The trickery from Jacoby Myers to Cam Newton, then the touchdown catch by Devin Asiasi, the first touchdown catch he's had all year. Hell, it may have been the first catch he had all year. Entering today, he didn't have a catch. He had 2 catches today. I can't remember if the touchdown catch was first or second. It doesn't matter. After that, Darnold throws a terrible interception. 2 plays later, Cam Newton throws a touchdown pass to Sonny Michel, a guy who never catches passes. It was the first game in over 2 years that Cam Newton has had 3 touchdown passes. Of course it happened against the Jets. I mean, watching this game was painful. It was 2 teams that just wanted to get out of there. The thing is, though, the Patriots wanted to get out of there with a win. The Jets just didn't care either way. It was very hard to get into this game, I'll tell you. I mean, there were a few guys who stood out. Chris Herndon had 7 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. He had his best game of the season. Of course, it was a meaningless game. The last game of a dismal season. Josh Adams and Ty Johnson looked good out of the backfield. They both had 11 carries. Adams had 47 rushing yards and a touchdown. Johnson had 45 yards, no touchdowns. Still, though, over 4 yards a carry for both of them. They were solid. You don't want them playing meaningful roles on the Jets next year. I mean, maybe in a 3-person committee, it's okay, but you don't want either one of them being the bell cow back. Marcus May looked really good. Neville Hewitt actually looked really good. He made a strong case to come back. Although I don't think the Jets should bring him back. I heard people say that the Jets should bring him back. No! Maybe as a backup I'd be open to it. But the thing is, backups need to play well when they're asked to start. It's not like the backup quarterback where you never want to see him play. No, you can see the backup middle linebacker play. And Hewitt's played a lot for the Jets. Wasn't that good? No, I don't want him back. Did he play well today? Yes. Do I want him back going forward? No. Henry Anderson looked really good, although he's going to be cut. He's on a big contract. Terrell Basham looked good. He's making a strong case to come back. Javelin Guidry looked good. Bryce Huff looked good. It was nice to see these younger players step up and make an impact today. Really playing for their spot, trying to prove to Joe Douglas that they deserve to be here next year. That was nice. But other than that, it was another bad performance by Sam Darnold. The guy threw 2 interceptions, was sacked 3 times. Not all of them were his fault, but on 1 or 2 of them, he could have gotten rid of the ball a little quicker. Adam Gase with another loss on his ledger. He'll finish his Jets career with a 9-23 record. I'll say this, it was a fitting way for the Gase and Darnold era to end. A really bad performance in a game that you had an impossible time getting into. I found myself on my iPad a lot following the Giants game. I'll tell you that. And of course they win. Somehow they have a chance to win the NFC East. The cherry on top of this dismal Jets season would be their neighborhood rival somehow sneaking into the playoffs with a 6-10 record. I know there are some Jets fans that don't hate the Giants. In fact, most probably don't hate the Giants. I'm one of the Jets fans that hate the Giants, so I'm going to be rooting for Washington tonight. Is it good that the Patriots aren't in the playoffs? Absolutely. Is it good that as it stands right now, as of when I'm recording this, the Dolphins are out of the playoffs? Yes. But what would make it better is Washington winning tonight. Let the Giants fans share in the misery that us Jets fans have to deal with year after year after year. The Browns and Buccaneers are in the playoffs. That's official. So the New York Jets now have the longest active playoff drought in the NFL. It will be over 10 years since they've been in the playoffs. Since they lost that heartbreaking game in Pittsburgh. I'll end the Jets instant recaps for this year with this. There has never been a time in my life. I was born in 1997, so Rich Kotite was not the head coach of the Jets when I was born. It was Bill Parcells. There has never been a time in my life where the Jets have been the worst team in the NFL. Were they in the conversation? Yes, but there were teams that were worse than them. Namely the Cleveland Browns. You can't say that anymore. The Browns are in the playoffs. Give them credit. They beat a good Steelers team to get into the playoffs. They tried hard to lose. But they're in. Give them credit. The Buccaneers are in. They went out and convinced Tom Brady to save that team. And he did. Now the Jets have the longest active playoff drought in the NFL. And besides that, I don't care what the records are. I don't care what the strength of schedule is. The New York Jets are worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars. If we're going by lack of style points, the Jets would have the first overall pick. The New York Jets, for the first time in my life, are without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, the worst team in the NFL. Big day tomorrow for the Jacob Valk show. In the morning, you're going to get a Brooklyn Nets show. In the afternoon, a regular episode of the Jacob Valk show. It's going to be very football heavy, breaking down all the big NFL news and breaking down all the New Year's 6 bowl games. And in the evening, New York Jets off-season preview that I've been prepping for weeks. It's the only thing I had to look forward to as a Jets fan. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying that I've played in more towns than Gone with the Wind.